Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturgio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition and episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Thursday. It is Thursday, May the 25th, one day before the big guy's 41st birthday. How you feeling, huh? The last day is your 40-year-old.
I feel like an old crotchety piece of garbage. You piece of garbage.
Garbage. All right. Well, listen, that's what happens with age. You know, you start to feel it a little bit more and more. But anyway.
Probably going to get myself a motorcycle.
It's Dave Sturgio. It's now motorcycle riding Chris Gueci.
Get a tattoo and a motorcycle for
Oh, you are in midlife crisis mode right now, huh? Well, listen, if 40 is your midlife, then you got 40 more to go.
I'm going to start a new fantasy league or something. It's like, I need some change.
You know what you can do? You could download the Mojo app. Oh, that's right. You have that already. You could just log in. Oh, that's right. You have a login already. You could do that on the iTunes. I do it all the time. Apple Store and Google Play and all of your favorite mobile devices. The Mojo Market app is available right now, so go do that. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Like I said, it's Thursday, almost the end of the week. It's Memorial Day weekend coming up, so obviously, programming alert. We won't be live tomorrow. We will have a show for you tomorrow, and we won't be here on Monday because it is Memorial Day. We are going to celebrate accordingly. And then, of course, back here on Tuesday for a full preview of what we think and what we hope would be an NBA Finals that will be scheduled as that game goes on tonight. But we'll start in baseball, ladies and gentlemen. Last night, the Yankees had a lead, blew a lead, and are officially on the losing side of last night. The biggest thing right here that I could take away from this is, you know, it's very un-Nestor-like to look a little gassed a little early. But again, it's one of those things where I'm not so worried about Nestor Cortez being, non-serviceable dude. I know there's a lot of hype going around him as far as last year is concerned, but I'm not worried.
I'm not overly worried. He's a lefty. He's a crafty guy. He's not relying on his velocity too much. So even when he's off, he could still find a way to make it happen. No, I'm not worried about Nestor yet. Unless I hear something that Nestor's hurt, then I don't care. A bad start here or there. More concerning was the bullpen in this one, but you know, there's really not much you could do when a team lights it up like that in an inning.
When you're gassed, you're gassed. I mean, I know it's too early to consider people being gassed right now because, again, it's May, so let's not get to June next week. So the dog days of summer are among us and are coming. But, you know, I'm not worried about that. There's some reinforcements are coming back. I'm not sure if you're excited about them or not. Josh Donaldson starting his rehab assignment. I know you don't like him personally, but he could help as far as a little bit of a rotational player.
Really needed,
he's got some pop still.
No, I think just what we needed was somebody to come in and strike out, not hit a slider, and bat about 220 with a bad attitude. Yeah. Right. Josh Donaldson, welcome back to the club.
In any event, he'll be on his way back.
Sucks.
And they say that Stanton is very, very close to rehabbing and getting back. That's a bat we need.
There is also a rumor going around about Stanton that the minute he plays, he's also almost hurt again. So as soon as Stanton plays, he will be revisiting the IL within a week, most likely.
I mean,
Dave hates the juju that I'm putting on this right now, but I'm just being a realistic Yankees
detrimental fan. Yankee day here, Shay.
We can't officially rely on Stanton. It's very much so like the Anthony Davis situation, only at least he brought them a championship. So at any given moment, Stanton could be lighting it up, but if he has to run out a ground ball, God forbid, the wheels might come off.
Don't want that.
I love Giancarlo, don't get me wrong.
Giancarlo, I like him too. I mean, I love when he's on the field, and I love when he's smashing the cover off the ball.
He's a classic case of, if you don't hit it out of the park, don't hustle. Just like, we're okay with it.
So he's Jason Giambi, a Jace.
Well, no, it's like you get to a point in your career. Because
Giambi was like the kind of guy where like if he's not launching it into the bleachers.
You get to the point in your career where it's time to settle down, buddy. We have to realize what's happening here, right? Settle down.
The Mets find themselves on a losing effort again. Couple things I want to bring up about the Mets. Lost 4-2 to the Cubs last night. Senga has started his career with the Mets and in American baseball 4-3. Is all of a sudden we've seen the worst out of Scherzer, we've seen the worst out of Verlander. They're starting to come around a little bit, but Senga was supposed to be this third guy that are bringing in. When you bring in these Japanese stars, the hype is so high for all of these guys, and it's just like for me. I look at a Senga and I'm like, you're 4-3 right now, and I get it. Last night, when you score 2 runs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that game because you just need the offensive support. And, the polar bear can't go out there and smack 4 home runs a night. Just not happening. But in this regard, when I look at the Mets, is Senga a bad investment right now over the course of his first couple starts?
Absolutely not. I'm looking at it right here. The guy, his numbers are decent. I would say NL ERA is slightly up than what it's used to be.
DH.
Because of the DH. So that's you would think that the ERA is a little high, but for a third starter, his ratios are good. He doesn't give up too many hits. A little too many. I would say he walks a little too much, guys, but that's pretty much standard in baseball these days. But he's got a sub-4 ERA. He's got more than a strikeout.
Sub-4 ERA. That's you're talking like it's good.
Yeah.
Sub-4. So if you're in the high threes, you're like.
Where do you think the average third starter in Major League Baseball's ERA is?
I think your expectations and reality are 2 different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my expectations is keep that garbage under 3.
Like you're,
and I know it's not a possibility. I mean, it is realistic.
Now, okay. Conversely, go count the pitchers in Major League Baseball who have finished their seasons
under 3
in the last 20 years. It's not that many.
Yeah,
I mean, it happens,
I
but
guess,
it's not that many. That's a very serviceable ERA for a third starter. He's not the problem. I can promise you that he's not the problem. He's doing his job. And honestly, he hasn't really gotten hot yet. So,
here comes the summer. So we'll see what happens.
He hasn't really gotten lit up.
I did hear something on the way in today.
The Reds lit him up.
Boomer and Gio, it was just Gio brought it up. Would you? Now, you're Steve Cohen, right? And Steve Cohen is all about winning and need a championship and spend the money you got to spend and do what you got to do to get on the field in October, early November. The Mets fans right now are very excited about some of the kids that have come up and have contributed right away, right? And that's great because people are very excited. Mets fans are like, hey, you know what? We may be 500 after 50 games, but guess what? Kids are starting to get alive. We got some pop in the bats, all this up stuff, right? Would you right now risk trading away 3? I'm talking 3. The guys that called up and maybe your last one left in your minor league system right now. Would you trade those 3 guys for an impending free agent in Shohei Ohtani? You have the pieces that you're building right now, and
so
Ohtani has
3 guys.
Well, it's the guys that have been called up. So
no, I'm not doing it.
Now it's funny because it's risk reward. If you add an Ohtani to this lineup this year at the trade deadline,
they still get bounced by the Dodgers.
Well, that's the thing. And here's the biggest risk:
then you lose
Ohtani could leave. Ohtani doesn't have to resign. He would be here for a couple months and then debate on if he wants to stay in New York. I'm just saying, does Ohtani move the needle for you at the trade deadline? But you got to part with your biggest dogs.
So if I'm going to look here, ready?
I'm
just going to look over. I feel like the Angels are a playoff team right now.
They are. No, they are. They're playing, which is nuts because I feel like Mike Trout's never missed the playoffs in his life.
I mean, they're 5 games above 500.
Right, but 4 games behind the first place. So look, they're playing decent baseball,
but in a very good spot.
They're not.
I don't think that the Rangers are going to be able to sustain. I don't think the Orioles sustain. I don't think that the Rays even sustain. The Orioles, we're looking at what they did yesterday. Another come from behind win. That's 8 on the season. Half their wins are come from behind.
So are the Yankees in some regards.
And we've seen this with the Yankees before where it's it just doesn't add up because you have to play better. You're not going to get those come from behind wins like that most of the time. And especially later on in the season when the bullpens are shored up a little bit, at least against contenders. I think the Angels have a little bit of staying power. I think I'm not so sure about their starting pitching, but I know that they're getting some guys back for their lineup. Taylor Ward should be coming back soon, if not already back.
Angels are won 4 straight, 7-3 in their last 10. So look, the Angels are playing good baseball, but the impending elephant in the room is the fact that you're going to have to pay arm, leg, all body parts for a Ohtani to stay in Los Angeles. Yeah. So at this point, you would probably be able to get the biggest bang for your buck this year.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Ohtani. He's such a generational player. I don't really think, and I'm just saying based on everything that I've read and what I kind of know about what their plans are, it's not like this isn't a situation where they think they could trade Ohtani and then re-sign him. I don't think that they want to trade him because I don't think that they care.
Oh, that wouldn't be possible at all. I don't think it would be possible at all.
It's happened before where the Yankees traded away Chapman
and got him back.
The Cubs won a World Series. We got Glaber and Chapman. for Andrew Miller and we
Remember that deal?
Yeah, we traded.
That was a good deal for a minute.
We traded Chapman for Glaber, is what it was.
Right.
Yeah. So long story short, it does happen. Secondary to that, I don't think it's going to. I think that the Angels, even if they fall out of the race, you're not going to get Ohtani from them because then they go into the offseason pretty much conceding, saying we're not really going to go after him. They're gonna. So they're going to try and keep him around. They're not trying to trade him. And it's such a generational talent, and the asses he puts in seats, it's just there's more to it
that's
than,
another thing.
than winning baseball.
But that's another incentive for any team to throw the farm at this guy because of the fact that all of a sudden jersey sales up. Your logo is now everywhere worldwide.
I don't think Ohtani is going to not test free agency though. So
can you imagine the amount of money this guy's
you're gonna risk that for the backstretch of a season?
You're going to risk that to win this year. So the team has to be built to win this year. And there is a handful of teams that are built to win this year.
I'm not trading away the farm for a chance to win this year because it's not even really that great of a chance. You put Ohtani on the Mets right now, do you really think that they're going to be the favorites? I do not.
Well, if he pitches, I mean, look, he would be the third pitcher behind Scherzer and
That's
Verlander.
Good. That's all well and good. It's not to say that they wouldn't be the favorites. They might become the Vegas odds-on favorites, but that doesn't mean that they're going to win.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Segueing over to the NBA, we do have ourselves a playoff basketball game tonight.
Get lit up in his in 2 starts in the postseason, and all for what?
It's true. I mean,
he could strike out 11 times in a postseason, all for what? And I'm not saying he's going to because he's not going to be a Met, but.
In any event, the NBA rolls on tonight. The Boston Celtics back home after splitting in Miami. It's now 3-1. Backs are still against the walls. They got to win 3 straight. So what we've seen out of the Heat is that they have caught fire, literally and figuratively, the entire playoff run. We've seen them do their thing. They've run through the Bucks. They got through the playoff game first. Then they run through the Bucks. Then they get through the Knicks. Then now they're here, and it's like, okay, Jimmy Butler has played out of his mind most times, most nights. Their role players are great. Spoelstra's coaching his ass off. Is there any fiber in your being right now that thinks that Boston can win the next 3 games?
No, I think that they could win tonight.
And Boston is statistically not played their best ball at home. They lost 2 in a row in this series.
Yeah, but they also, that was the thing going into Game 7. I want to say it was Game 7 was in Boston against the Sixers, correct?
Yes.
And that was the story. It's like they can't win at home, and
then they blew the doors off them. Right.
So they can win at home.
Yeah.
They play a little bit worse at home. I feel, did anybody really expect this series to go 5 games? No. I think that the Celtics have a chance to win this game and make it a little bit interesting, but I can't see them taking 3 straight. I don't see it happening. It's not going to happen. They're too well coached, and Jimmy Butler is too good of a player. Outside of an early injury in this game or an injury in this game, I don't see it happening. And the injury has to be to Jimmy Butler.
You know, videos surfacing, by the way, around. I don't remember this happening. Do you remember Jokic and Butler going at it like verbally? That was, I can't wait. Yeah, that would be great. That, I would love to see the conclusion of that fight. You know what I mean? I think he was telling one guy that which hotel room he was in.
No,
Butler,
that wasn't. That was.
No?
That was Kyle.
But no, he definitely was yelling at Joker for one of the games.
That was a separate thing.
Okay.
But there is a little bit of beef, but it was Kyle Lowry and I want to say
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry and maybe Michael Porter.
Okay.
That was who said my room 428. My room's 428.
So in any event, that game goes down tonight.
If you want to come fight.
I got the Heat tonight. I think they're going to take it in Boston. I think this is over. Boston's obviously one of the better teams in the NBA throughout the course of the season. We all know that. But I like the Heat to finish it out tonight. They've learned their lesson from last week, the other night. I do see Butler having a very, very good game. And I think that, look, there's the bigger questions that are going to be raised over the weekend and going forward is Tatum still a superstar? Because it's just like, is he? Because at the end of the day, if he doesn't show up tonight in the fourth quarter specifically, they're going to start chatting.
Yes, he's going to be considered a superstar. If Tatum became available, he would get picked up. He's going to get all the maxes, all these things that are offered to superstars. He still did just have 50 points in an elimination game.
Well aware.
So it's not it's the same Jason Tatum, but it's like this. Is Patrick Ewing a superstar?
I mean, when he was playing, I think he was on the Dream Team, right? So he had to be a superstar.
What did Patrick Ewing do in the postseason?
He missed that one
Fell
layup.
flat constantly. So I don't think it tarnishes that. Every year, Jason Tatum being on your roster gives you hope that you could potentially win an NBA title.
Okay.
At a point, he might get over the hump. If he doesn't, that'll stick with him for his entire career. And look, you can make the case that if KD doesn't step on the line, Giannis doesn't have his title, then what has he done in the postseason other than Giannis, I'm pretty sure, has been the 1 seed and bounced twice in his career.
Really?
Yeah.
Not just this year. I don't remember him being the 1 seed another year.
I think it was also
the bubble year? Yeah, possibly. But that's another, I digress with that one. But speaking of that, being that the NBA,
it might have been 2-7, but
within the next 3-4 days, no matter how this all plays out, shakes out, the NBA offseason begins for 28 teams. And that some of them have begun before the playoffs started, so they got to start looking at themselves in the face and figure out who they're going to move, who you're going to keep, who you're going to dish off, who you're going to try to get capital for as far as the draft picks and the lotteries and all that stuff. Obviously, we know, we didn't even talk about this, but the Spurs won the lottery. They're going to land the big kid. He's coming over there. It's like they landed Duncan, Robinson, and now this guy. So it's like they get their big boys whenever they almost feel fit. But trade rumors have emerged. Specifically on the Mojo app, there is a section that has and highlighted possible trade victims throughout the course of the offseason. Now, some of these names that have popped up that kind of, I raise my eyebrow. I'm like, wait, him? But again, once you see that rumor, it's going to start. And what we say here on the show, and most people say, when there's smoke, there's fire. So we'll see. The first person here on this list is Chris Paul with the Suns. Now, obviously, clearly, he lost a step. He got hurt. He's gone, right? You would assume that he's going to be moved based off the fact that he's a little injury prone down the stretch when it matters.
The money doesn't make sense for them anymore.
Right.
Plus, I don't think people like him. I think
How is Chris
after
Paul not a likable guy?
A couple seasons, teammates just don't like playing with him. That's just not. That's not me saying that. That's a thing that's going around.
Okay. Second name. Now this is the big one here. To me, this is the big one.
He's staying
for the Knicks. To make a move in the offseason to get that one piece, there is trade rumors swirling about Dame Lillard. He's gone on record plenty of times and said, I'm staying here, I'm staying here, I'm staying here. But money talks, and, when somebody's willing to give up specific things, the Knicks over the last couple of years have compiled themselves a shit ton of draft capital, right? They can move pretty much heaven and earth to go get this guy if they want it. Could it happen? 2, is it a fit for the Knicks?
It's no and no.
Okay.
I don't think it could happen based on where the Knicks are. Like, right now, the Blazers are not shopping Dame. They're trying to do the opposite. They're trying to trade the 3rd pick or the 4th, whatever pick they have. I think it's the 3rd pick. Whatever pick they have, they're trying to move that to add pieces. So if the Knicks want to rebuild and trade one of their pieces for that pick, maybe we could have a conversation. But Dame's not going to the Knicks.
Going anywhere.
And I think he might go somewhere. I think it's unlikely at this point because we've heard this rumor before. Dame has been on record as saying, like you said, I'm Portland through and through. I do think that it's starting to wear its welcome a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I think they're going to end up keeping Chauncey Billups around, right? They didn't move on him.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if that's the right move or not, but realistically, that roster's not good enough to win in the West, and I think that they're further away than they might think in their front office because they're more than one piece.
Yeah.
If you look around the Western Conference, so I don't think Dame moves. If he does move, I think it'll be sometime in the season before the deadline, but I don't think Dame is going to get traded in the offseason.
Another name that's popped up recently, and there's a little bit more to this because we're all still trying to wonder. There's not much concern if LeBron's going to come back to the Lakers because I think that's going to happen. I think he comes back for year 21. Where's he going to go? He's not a free agent, so it's a trade. I don't think LeBron gets traded.
Well, it's a unique situation.
And I'm not even talking about LeBron. I was talking about Trae Young. Trae Young has been rumored to be traded to the Lakers.
LeBron could dip.
But dip, you say dip and say, how? How does he leave?
Because I think he's got a player option, so he could just leave. He could void it.
You sure?
I mean,
because that would be a cover story beyond anything else. All right, contract. Hold on. I'm very curious. Contract salary breakdowns according to Spotrac. 2024, he does have a player option, but he's guaranteed $50 million.
Wherever he goes, he's guaranteed $50 million. Like, what do you do?
Is it?
Yeah. LeBron's only able to make $45 million. Oh, so he's making $290 million instead of $300 million this year.
He's making 35% of the cap next year.
So he could go wherever he wants. I saw a rumor that LeBron, the front runner to land LeBron,
is the Knicks, which we made jokes about this years ago.
I believe that that's true. I believe that. I believe that LeBron would. That is very LeBron-esque that he would go to the Knicks. And I think that's about the only player in the NBA that the Knicks should be after.
You think he's a fit in New York right now? Still,
bro? What do you?
Look, I just saw. All right, listen.
James,
I saw what he just did in the playoffs, right? And what he's done as a 40-year-old. He averaged 30 points. I'm all for it.
I don't know if he's a
does
fit.
he
You're
fit
right.
that
You
mold
know,
right now?
I think
is
you're
what I'm
right.
saying.
I think, and you know what? We're going to get to a guy in a second that you're going to say, I would love him on the Knicks.
I do.
And then you're going to talk about fit. He don't fit.
Karl Anthony Towns.
He don't fit.
New Jersey bred. Get on back home, son. I saw you chopping it up with Aaron Judge the other night at the Yankee game. Karl Anthony Towns, a trade rumor from the Timberwolves to the Knicks.
If you want a 7-footer to get dunked on and be and play in the perimeter on defense, then you got Karl Anthony Towns.
Disrespecting a local kid.
I like the kid as a player. He's a good offensive player, and even he says that. I'm one of the best offensive players ever.
But what do you expect him to say?
I would say I'm a really good defender too, but he's not, because that would be a lie. Now you want to see a little more. I don't know, man. I don't think he's the right fit in terms of the attitude, and if he's your best player, he's a little too reserved for New York Knicks.
He's not. He wouldn't come in as their best player.
Who would be?
Jalen Brunson's their best player.
Are you out of your mind,
Jalen Brunson now is their best player.
Dave.
He's not?
He's not.
He's not.
Karl Anthony Towns is a better player than Jalen Brunson. Let's just not even debate this.
You just basically you spent the last 20 seconds shitting all over Karl Anthony Towns' ability to play defense, and now he's a better player than Jalen Brunson.
You show me a good defender.
Fair, very fair. What are you looking up? His stat line?
Yeah, I'm just
well aware that Karl Anthony Towns is an all-world player right now, but when you put him on the Knicks, and after what you just said about him, I prefer, if I had to choose,
he had a shitty season this year.
Gun to my head, he was hurt. Gun to my head, I'm taking Brunson right now in New York over Karl Anthony Towns. But if you can add them both, I mean, that's a whole nother ball game.
I mean, for his career, he's averaging 23 and 11.
That doesn't move the needle for me.
What?
It doesn't. Not now. Not now. If you can add them, sure, but I wouldn't replace anybody.
I wouldn't. First of all, they wouldn't be trading Brunson.
It'd be Mitchell Robinson would be gone out of the starting lineup. It would be Jericho Sims out of the lineup. It would, those guys. Those guys would move for Karl Anthony Towns. I would take him now. I'm just telling you that it's not a thing to subtract and add. Like, subtract one of your better players and then add him. I don't know. What? Anyway,
yeah, he's
two more names on this list.
For his career, he's averaging 14 and 3.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
Oh yeah, because he's going to be a heavy rebounder. He's a freaking point guard. Like, it's a whole different ballgame.
Talking about 4 assists, so it's not like
okay. Well, whatever.
So he averages one more assist.
He only averages 14 points a game for his career.
Yeah, 14, 4 and 2. He averages one more assist as a point guard than Karl Anthony Towns is as a center. So,
how do you feel about Bradley Beal? Is he on the move? He's one of the names on the list.
Karl Anthony Towns is a far better player than Jalen Brunson. I don't think that he's a better fit than Jalen Brunson for the Knicks.
Correct. That's kind of where I'm at.
He brings a different type of attitude. I think Jalen Brunson is. I mean, I think Karl Anthony Towns is soft. There.
You hear that, Karl Anthony?
He would be chewed up by the New York media.
Yes, could be true. A couple names left on this list. Bradley Beal, he could be on the move. Chris Middleton was one that kind of interested me. That doesn't spell fire sale for the Bucks, but I just feel like
he
was a massive part of their
contract situation.
Yeah. That's true.
That's what it spells. And Bradley Beal, I feel like he's like the Wish version of Dame. He's just stuck in the same spot, but it's like even worse. There's like no playoff appearances. God. Bradley Beal, you're a rich man, but man, you don't win basketball games ever.
I guess that's not the name of the game. But the name of the game is to follow us right now on all the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Get involved with Mojo, at Mojo, MOJO, and of course, join the Discord. Daily conversation to be had over there on the old internet. Like I said, tomorrow's show, we're going to go heavy into the June 1st cuts of the NFL. We really think that's a big, big topic. Specifically, if you're invested in some of these guys, they might not have homes after June 1st. So there's a couple guys on the list that kind of really raise your eyebrows. We'll get into all of that tomorrow. For Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. Back here tomorrow. We'll see you then.